2009, I was putting together an incredible year. I'd won 3 from 5 events, had a huge lead, staring at the trophy, and I blew my ankle. It was Mick and I going for the world title in 2009, and then here we are, 2 best friends going for head-to-head. There was so much tension between, I want it more than you, or you want it more than me. And
today's guest is one of Australia's greatest surfers, a Cooli kid who chased the dream and then caught it. Joel burst onto the world stage as a teenager, took on Kelly Slater and Andy Irons at their peak, and after 4 remarkable runner-up finishes, claimed the surfing world title in 2012. Beyond the water, Joel co-founded Balter Brewing, one of Australia's most iconic craft breweries, famous for pioneering the XPA in Australia. Please welcome world champion surfer and true Aussie legend, Joel Parkinson.
I was like, I'm done with it. The last 6 months of the tour of 2011, just surfing free, and I didn't really care for the result. And then come home and started training for 2012, and I just had a beam up on it to do it, and I just started going for it. And then it became me and Kelly down for the race of 12, and I ended up winning the event and winning pipe and the title. I've surfed plenty of competitions after I've retired, but I've never surfed for points again. I never would take that opportunity away from someone who needs those points.
I actually wanted to read out a fun fact, because I don't think many people actually know what Balter means. To dance artlessly without particular skill or grace, but usually with enjoyment. Where did that story begin? What was the...
I guess...
Joel Parkinson, welcome to World Class Voices.
Thanks, Sam. Great to be here.
Totally. I'm pumped to have a chat today.
Yeah.
I wanted to start off by setting the scene. Of course, we're going to talk about 2012 at some point, but beforehand, I wanted to go back a little bit earlier to quite an interesting year for you, 2002.
Yeah.
You're 21 years old, and you're in your rookie year on tour, and you come runner-up, which is, for that year, second best surfer in the world. Talk to me about, is that the best performing rookie ever?
Oh, technically I wasn't a rookie because 2001 I made the tour and was on, but it was 9/11, so it was cut in half virtually. So the 10 events became, remember the world shut down, so it was 5 events. I only did 5, and I just scraped in. Scraped in at 16th. But my first full proper year was 02.
Wow. So your official first full year was 02, did half of 01.
Well, I guess it would have been 01, but yeah, it got cut up because of it.
That's actually interesting. So just because the world was in havoc.
It was about, we were in Europe about to start a huge leg of back-to-back 3 events, and 9/11 happened, and they canned all 3. Obviously, people couldn't get travel. It was locked, the world shut down for a couple of weeks, and the events were called off.
So there was no world champion in 2001?
There was. It was CJ Hobgood, who we didn't start back up till right at the end of December in Hawaii. There was one more event. So I think it was a 5-event year.
Yeah.
Instead of, it would have been maybe 9, I guess.
So 02, what was that year like? You've done what, half of a year?
Yep.
You're 21 years old. That's young.
It was young. Yeah, it was great. It was good. I started really well. I started with the very first event here at the Snapper Rocks. I won, and then went on and fumbled a few events, I guess, with a learning curve as a rookie, and didn't have at that point, didn't have experience, but also didn't have the grindiness you need to I won the first event, and I was like, this is great. This is going to be amazing. The next come up, I remember the very next event, I think I won my very first heat, and I was like, winning's easy. And then I come up against this Brazilian guy. It was a low seed, and had a shocker, and he won. He won the round 2, and then I was like, no, I'm like, you actually need to be ready for everything. The waves were crap, and all the everything, everything goes against you. And I was like, you learn that stuff later on where, maybe I got a little blasé, as you do when you're young and you're on a roll, and then it all comes apart. You get that. It was a good lesson to learn.
Yeah, because what would have the culture been like as a young'un joining tour? Correct me if I'm wrong, but Andy Irons, Kelly Slater, they're kind of
were they kind of leading kind of the two big names in surfing at that time?
Well, Andy, 2002, his first world title, he was definitely on his way. We all knew he was amazing, but Kelly was he was the biggest name in surfing. So, at that point, there was a really nice young crop, I guess, of us, myself, Mick Fanning's first year, Dean Morrison, Nathan Edge, a bunch of guys from Australia, and then the Hobgood brothers, all this new crop of young guys. Bruce Irons was just about to make it too. So there was a great crop of young people coming through at the time.
Yeah. How special is it to be able to have had that?
It was amazing. It was really good too because of myself, Mick, and Dean Morrison was there. So we were pretty tight.
You all went to school together.
Yeah. So we it's really nice when you're on the road and you have someone, because you're not just surfing. You've got to live as well and have life and while you're away. And then there's probably if there's anything explodes at home, it's nice to have a mate to be around and talk to about what's either happening at home or what's happening. It can be a solace thing traveling on your own.
Totally. And to have Aussies with your best mates.
It was good. It all wasn't good times and party. There was other times it was really serious, and there was other times, there was problems at home between whatever it was, and it was nice to have an ear to bounce off and stuff like that.
Do you think specifically you and Mick would have both achieved as much as you guys did if you didn't have each other almost to experience the entire journey with?
Maybe. It's a tough question because I feel like we really competed well. It was really healthy competitive rivalry between us, which definitely probably pushed us further than each other wanted to go or each other would expect. But I guess it's a hard one to say because Mick's a freakish talent. I really don't look at myself whether I feel like maybe I would have done it without without his rivalry or him there, but it definitely created a really nice healthy storm of competitive rivalry.
Yeah, because it's kind of like if you're running I know with sprinters and a lot of like athletic sports, if you're in the fastest heat and there's people next to you, you're actually going to run faster. But if you're lengths ahead of everyone, then you're not going to run as fast personally.
Absolutely, definitely. It creates that, I think even there's a group of young surfers at the moment, and there's a couple of young girls that are amazing, and I feel like they're all close friends, and they're in this. They feel like they're levels above, and every time you see them, I'm like, they are getting better and better through this little competitively healthy rivalry as kids still, and that'll take it to the big stage for sure.
Yep. Going back to your childhood, when did surfing begin? What was your relationship with surfing? It was a bit of an addiction.
For sure. My dad was a great surfer. He was a Queensland champion back in the day. My uncle was a phenomenal surfer. He was a 78 Australian champion. He won there's a Duke. It's called the Duke Kamanamoko Trophy. I can't say that, but the Duke Trophy was the world's most promising junior, and he won that in the year too. So he was a really talented surfer, but at that point, surfing probably had not much in it. So he went on and did a trade and left. I guess still surfs today. Surfs great, always has. Yeah. So it was kind of, I guess, in our family, and I was just, I guess, dragged along for the ride at the early days, and then surfing really took over.
Was there a point, like an age, where you were like, either I'm in love with this or I could actually do this forever?
Oh, like a point where it all changed, I would say would be year 5 to year 6 Christmas holidays. And I surfed every day. I was probably 10, 11, maybe even, I'm a bit even younger maybe. I was young, maybe even a bit earlier. It was around that, like year kind of 4, I was surfing quite a bit young, but I just remember there was holidays and I was like, that's it. Or maybe it was just through getting a bit bigger and getting around the lineup and being able to actually surf that I was like, oh, this is unreal. Like, this is what I'm going to do every day. So
Did you? What was your style back then? Did you just have one board that you went out and paddled into anything? Did you have a selection of boards? Did you have, older surfers that were guiding you and teaching you?
Well, surfers are great. We have board riders clubs. So it's usually the first step for a young surfer to join a board riders club. You can surf against a lot of kids your own age in your local area. And that's kind of where most surfers start in this country. It's kind of like they nurture their crop really well through now. A lot of clubs will really focus, like our board riders really focuses a lot of energy on our junior development from under sixes right through.
Right.
So, and I guess that saying that, like, it's nothing better than watching you're watching a young 8-year-old go all the way through till, hitting the world stage and becoming a world champion and beyond. It's kind of like, especially through the pedigree of your club, it's a pretty honourable thing to have.
Yeah, it's special. So, 2002, you come runner up.
By default, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
Just through, I was not in a world title race at the time. It was between Luke Egan and Andy Irons.
Right.
I had I kind of stumbled my way around. I think them two were going for a world title. I was in no position, but I think I might have won the last event in a sunset, and kind of it catapulted me past Luke. But even with the win, I was nowhere near the world title.
Right. And so what happens after that? Like, what happens at the end of that season? Like, what's going through your head? Are you like what are you thinking?
No, I guess the fact I probably wasn't, because I wasn't in a world title position. I was more looking at winning events. I just wanted to win events, winning a world title was a marathon, and it's probably takes quite a bit to do. Whereas I didn't probably have the experience or the knowledge to sit through a marathon. I was probably too young and naive, so I probably could win events and then I'd go out and get dead last in the next one. It wasn't until later, I guess, you get consistency and your experience comes. And
it's like play matches, win matches. Just focus on that next event.
Yeah.
That's a certain break, certain wave, certain time of year, certain type of weather. How am I going to surf that wave?
Yeah.
Then focus on the next. Yeah. Progressing into the career, talk us through it. What was it like over the next few years? 2004, and then onwards from there.
2003. I have no idea where I finished. So I think I was still up in the rankings, maybe top 5. I'm pretty sure. But 2004, I runner up again. Took 2 events off. Had my first baby. Well, I didn't, but my wife and I had our first kid.
Wow. 22.
At 22.
23,
20. This is 2004.
Yep.
I was 23 years old.
Yep.
And I was in Tahiti, flew to Tahiti, and Monica started having, it was really maybe not long to go, maybe 2 weeks. I knew I was going to have the next event off Fiji, and it was about a month to go, and with her first baby, and things started to move around at home. So I was like, I'm out of here. So I jumped on a plane and just flew home and didn't surf the event. I didn't surf the next event, and just it was awesome because I was home. I really didn't care for the event, and I think I'd maybe done all right, actually. I'd won Bells that year, and I was still quite up in the rankings. I just took 2 events off, and then I had a really good little roll home at the end in the last few events. I think I might have done well again and won Sunset, and it kind of pushed me all the way back up to 2. I wasn't even in the world title picture really either. But yeah.
Yeah, right. So you took 2 events off, runner up. You're 23. You've just had your first baby, Evie.
Yep, Evie, yep.
Where did you and Monica meet? Because that's
at school.
Yeah, wow. So you guys are high school sweethearts.
Yeah, we had a little off and on breaks and stuff. She moved to England for a year and stuff like that. So we, but yeah, I was in school and asked her for a calculator, and didn't even know how to use one. But that was my pitch to her, and that was it. And we've been happily married for over 20 years now.
It's special.
It's a journey, I'm sure. If you ask her, it's a journey, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah. Runner-up 2004. Runner-up again in 2009.
Yeah.
This is what? That's another 5 years. What did that next kind of 5-year chapter look like?
Yeah, then it kind of looked like pretty cruisy. We had a second child 3 years after Evie, and kind of still doing well, winning a few events, but hadn't really put down this, still felt like I was on a sprint, not a marathon yet. I hadn't really put down the year. And then it all changed. Mick got injured 2007. He snapped his hammy off the bone, and he come back with 2006. So I guess he snapped it. He come back with vengeance. Trained a demon, just wanted to win, and came out and won the world title the year after. And then, I was like, we need to take this seriously.
So he won 08, was it? Or 7?
7.
Oh, he won. Yeah, he won.
And then we were like, whoa, okay, let's go. So, I just knuckled down, trained like a demon, like really focused on consistency, winning, and how it was going to go. 2009, I was putting together an incredible year. I'd won 3 from 5 events, had a huge lead, staring at the trophy, and I blew my ankle in Bali and just free surfing one day and limped my way to the end, and Mick went on a roll, and it was Mick and I going for the world title in 2009, and then we had a shocker at Pipe in first heat and got smoked and smashed, and that was it. Mick won the world title, and I felt like that year, he was surfing incredible, but I felt like I may have had an edge that year. Like I felt like I was just on that year, and but so be it. And then, it goes on from there.
I mean, like the emotions of wanting to celebrate your best mate, like quite literally your best mate, but then also the frustration with your own output, which part of that was out of your control.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like between us both. Like here we are, 2 best friends going for head to head, and we were just, there was so much kind of tension between everyone around us, taking sides, but also between us was like hard to see how this was going to play out. Like it's me and you, there's no one else. I want it more than you, or you want it more than me. And then when it all came down to it, he was in the water, so I paddle out.
So you've come back from the injury.
Yeah, I've come back.
So you've missed like what, the middle half?
I tried to limp my way through. I probably should have taken events off and got it right, but I tried to surf on it, and it didn't work.
And who won? So Mick won 07, 08. Who won 08?
Kelly.
Okay, and now we're in 09.
Yeah.
You've had a few comps off. A few comps off, but you're pushing through.
Yeah, I'm pushing through. Yeah. So I actually didn't take an event off. I surfed,
oh, really?
I tried to surf with an ankle that I could barely walk on, and it was just horrible. I shouldn't have done it. And I limped through a Trestles event in the States, and then I flew to France, and we had an event there, and I limped through that one. Didn't do any good. Went to Spain, didn't do any good, and then I had a quick break and went back to France to this amazing rehab facility for sport injuries. They do a lot of soccer players, and I spent a week or a bit there in a rehab facility just working, getting it right, and then come out and felt like I was back after that.
And so it's you and Mick in the final.
We're in the final, but I lose first. So we first heat at Pipeline, we paddle out, and it's the seeds, the way it works, top seed and second seed, so we'd overlap in the water, and I bomb out, Mick's in the water, wins the world title. I go in, Mick's still in the water surfing his heat, and I was just furious and exhausted, and I was just exhausted. I was done. You know, the years come to an end and I haven't won, and it all dropped me. And then, and I was like, I should be stoked for him, but I can't even face the music of walking down to the beach to congratulate him. And then I was like, you know what? Get it together. I had a friend of mine just said, do it, get down there. And as he come to the water's edge, I was the first one to meet him and congratulate him. And yeah, so I guess it would have been hard if I never did that, because I felt like the moment I congratulated him, it all fell away. And I was like, I'm happy for you. You know, it's me and you together in this anyway. So sucks that I didn't win, but I'm stoked for you.
You obviously have a break. You begin the next year. Like, what's your mentality at that point? So you've come runner up 3 times, and the third time to your best mate in peak condition before you got injured. Are you a bit like, is this going to ever happen? Or are you like, I am like, we are on here?
Yeah, I was over it after that. I was so over it. And then kind of coming to 2010, I had another horrible injury in 2010. I sliced my foot off, and I spent almost 4 months on the couch, couldn't move, barely surfed, and then back to Hawaii and started my little Triple Crown run. I won the Triple Crown that year, and which is a nice thing to win. It's amazing. Winning a Triple Crown is very much second to the world title.
Yeah.
So, and then went into 2011, and I was a bit off it, and I was in New York, and I was ready to throw it in. I was like, I'm done with it. I think I'm done, and I'm cooked. 10 years of tour, I'm done. And then I was just kind of was like ready to, and I just kind of cruised my way. I wasn't doing that well, so I cruised my way through the year, and I enjoyed probably the last 6 months of the tour of 2011, just surfing free, and I didn't really care for the result. I was like, I don't even know if I want to be here, but I love surfing still. And then come home and started training for 2012, and I just had a beamer bonnet to do it, and that was it. I just started going for it, and I felt like really I wasn't winning events, but I was being super consistent. Like it was, second, third, a fifth. I was just always in the picture.
Yeah.
And then it became me and Kelly down for the race of 12, and yeah, that was history. I ended up winning the event and winning pipe, and yeah, the title. It was kind of the end of and then after that I tried again for another 2 or 3 years, and then I was like, all right, 15 years on this thing, I'm slowly starting to. And plus, we had John and Gabriel Medina come in, and I was like, well, I don't think we're going to keep up with these guys.
Yeah. Had surfing evolved in competition by that point with
we're starting
John?
To. Yeah. Gabe and John were starting to set a bar that, probably like we felt like we set a bar in 2002, 3, 4. Those guys were setting a new bar.
Yeah, it's it's a cool story because there's a few second places there, and that teaches you things, doesn't it?
I was looking at if I had have lost the world title in 12 against Kelly, I would have been surfing's biggest loser. It would have been horrible. So I'm so glad I got to change that narrative.
Yeah. I'm like, what? It's a great takeaway for everyone, because it's that ability to take that loss and move on. And then go use that energy to attack the next year and actually get the W.
Maybe it took me 4 times to learn not how to lose. I don't know. Maybe you learn a lot from losing, but, it's hard to learn from winning sometimes. It's easier to learn from losing, I feel. Sometimes when you win, you kind of still go, which way and how and why, and I feel like you ask more questions when you win more than you lose. I don't know why that always thought with me.
Yeah. Ask more questions when you lose.
When you win, you always go how and why, and was it a lot of just beautiful moving parts that I got right, and a few, But when you lose, at least you're going to go and find out why you lost.
Right.
But when you win, I don't know, sometimes you win and you go, oh, did I just get lucky there? I come over a wave and I thought the second one would be better, and it was. I was about to catch the first one. You catch the first one, you lose. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Is there a big element as a professional surfer? Are you thinking about luck much, or is that like no? Like if you just
you're guesstimating the ocean, so a lot of it is luck too. If you can minimize the luck out of it, get to know a break, get to know. That's why Kelly is probably so successful, because of his knowledge on the break. He made himself get to know a break so well on direction of swell, tide, size, where it'd be, what it'd be. He was unbelievable in Fiji, and it was because he virtually set up there. He almost lives there for 2 months a year, and he got to know it to the point where he surfed it in every mood. It's when you don't know a break and you turn up and you're against a local, that guy will wobble around. He will maneuver around the break, and you'll wobble around and wonder where the next one paddling the wrong way.
So you're saying there's the element of how you perform on the wave, but you're saying there's a big element is actually the selection of the wave.
Oh, that's more critical than what probably happens. Anyone can, at that level, anyone could probably win. But if you're on the two best waves, you got a much better chance.
Yeah, right. Interesting. And I mean, John's a good example too. He grew up on Pipeline, didn't he?
Exactly. He's unbeatable out there. Incredible. And just the way he knows it, and probably the swing of it, knowing what the first reef will do or second reef, where it starts and direction of, and they get probably pretty technical. Like if it's nor-west swell, 16 seconds at 6 feet, there's a fair bit of west in it, or is it, or whatever, if it's north, it's going right. So you get to really know the mood of it.
Yeah, interesting. I hadn't thought about like the theory component behind knowing the breaks.
It's a big one.
Yeah. And then are you guys using, I mean, you obviously understand, you'd understand a fair bit about meteorology, wouldn't you, throughout your career? Or
most surfers probably have a little rough idea of it, I'd hope. So.
More for free surfing probably, whereas a comp's a comp, you're rocking up.
There's a couple of guys, like I think like, some of the big wave guys, like pretty much meteorology.
Yeah.
Like I know that Ryan Hipwood is amazing. Mark Matthews is amazing at all that, knowing direction, size, wind in the middle of that storm, where it would go. Like I'm sure they know it all.
Yeah. Kelly's an interesting one. I mean, some people say that he's the best athlete of all time across all sports. 11 world titles and like 30-something years as a professional athlete. What you mentioned his ability to understand a break. Was there anything else you picked up? Like, why is he so far? Like, the next person has won 3. Like, he's almost 4 times the next highest achiever.
Don't know. Maybe he's just an incredibly talented surfer.
Yeah.
He's super driven.
Right.
It's almost like he had 10 world titles, and he's in his very next heat, he still was like he'd never won a heat before. It was still driving him to like make sure he was on. Like he's a huge competitor.
Like a Michael Jordan.
He just loves to compete, like Jordan, like still want to be competitive, competitive in everything. Even picks up a golf club. He's incredible. Plays off scratch. Like anything he does, he will be good at.
Were there different like cultural pockets within surfing? Like you'd have probably the more larrikins, you'd have the Kellys who are just like nutrition, all of the allied health supporting him getting his body right. What were the different little pockets like?
Yeah, there was a group called the Golf Geeks. They were all when there was no surf or the event was off, they'd all go golf. They were called the Golf Geeks. Then there was the guys that would like to go fishing.
Yeah,
there was some that would probably just like to go drinking.
Yeah,
there was all sorts. Everyone, I never played much golf, so golf. But now I'd probably actually look
fishing,
around.
no fishing
I
either.
love my fishing. I love my fishing. So I'd go, if we were in Fiji or Tahiti, if I had a lay day, I'd be fishing.
Yeah.
And if there was no waves.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously you guys were nicknamed the Cooli Kids. That was what Dingo, you and Mick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was the original, it came from the original Cooli Kids from back in the day.
Yeah.
So,
Alrighty, guys, we're going to take a really quick break from today's episode to talk to you about our sponsor, Kingfishers Bend Farm. At the beginning of this year, I made a decision that I wanted to make 2025 my best year yet, and I knew my health needed to be on point for me to do that. And so, that's great sleep, that's exercising regularly. I'm not drinking any alcohol this year, but it also means fueling my body with the highest quality, most nutrient-dense food I can to put me in the best position to perform highly. And that's why I'm working with Kingfishers Bend Farm. Kingfishers Bend Farm are a local family-owned farm from down in northern New South Wales. They put a lot of love into what they do. They raise paddock-to-plate beef. And as you can see here, we've got plenty of different cuts. We've got, obviously steaks. I mean, the marbling on that is just sensational. Have a look at that. Beef ribs. We've got bones for bone marrow. We're going to cook some bone marrow up. We've got beef mince, we've got ground beef, we've got sausages, we've got the whole lot here. This is actually a quarter beast on the table right in front of me, which is pretty cool. You can order a quarter beast, a half beast, or a full beast at any point in time. And fortunately for everyone who watches this show, Kingfishers Bend Farm have been incredibly generous. They're offering $250 off everybody's first order. So whether you want to buy a quarter beast, a half beast, or a full beast, they're offering $250 off your first order. To claim the offer, just head to kingfishersfarm.store and include Sam Hope as the code in your checkout. And look, just before we get back to the episode, the way I look at these things is if you're driving a McLaren and you're wanting to get the highest performance from that supercar as possible, you're not putting E10 or 91 in the vehicle. You're putting the most highest octane petroleum that you can possibly get your hands on. And I don't think it's any different with our bodies. If we're wanting to perform at the highest possible levels and be sharp in meetings, walking into a room where people just go, wow, that guy's on. What's that guy on? What's he taking? We've got to fuel our bodies with the best possible nutrient-dense food. And that's why I'm so happy to be working with Kingfishers Bend Farm. Claim the offer, kingfishersfarm.store. Use code SAMHOPE at checkout. And I look forward to getting back to this episode.
So 2012 win, how many more years are you on tour post 2012?
I finished in 18, so I retired, announced my retirement in Jeffreys Bay.
Yeah.
In mid part of 18, and then finished off December 18. So
yeah, it's a long career.
Yeah, it's a long, and without a break too. With injury breaks, but no time off apart from the odd event here, having babies, and that was it.
I mean, it was probably a unique element of you having a family so young compared to the other young competitors, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
What was it like having Monica with you throughout so much travel? And
yeah, it was good. I really liked having, especially when we were like a month or so in Europe and traveling around, and it was tough. It was hard with juggling kids, jet lag, and then like getting up the next day and I'd have to leave and go surfing, and Monica's like, I haven't had a sleep, but we're like, no one slept. So there were some tough times, some funny ones too. Like, I remember getting off a flight, I won't say who, but I had 3 kids and we're in economy class we flew LA, London, Paris, Biarritz, and got there and our eyes are falling out of our head. Three kids, like this is like
young kids.
13. This is like 2013. And one of the boys who was in business by himself got off and went, that was a horrible flight. And I just looked at him and was like, I cannot wait to kick your ass in this event. You want to see, like, I was filthy and angry. And he's just going, it was horrible. I just went, I just had 3 kids in economy.
How does the funding work as a professional surfer?
So you would pay your own travel. You basically, you're just contracted to your sponsor.
Yeah.
And I was say Billabong, and they would just pay you your monthly, and you would have to travel to events. All events probably would come out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
They would help out with the houses and accommodation. They'd have a little Billabong house.
You've got three children.
Yeah, so I never really stayed at a Billabong house because I couldn't. So I'd have to, because I had the kids. So I always have to stay and get my own accommodation. Apart from Hawaii, 1 or 2 times, I stayed. But yeah.
And so do they travel mostly with you?
A lot of the time, yeah. We travel a lot together.
Yeah, that's special. Yeah.
Few events, it just didn't work out where it was easy. Like Fiji is the accommodation's so small. You're on an island. Tahiti was hard. Brazil was so far to go. And, I would literally go in and get out, go into the event, do what I had to do and get out. Sometimes you'd only have to do a week or 10 days. So it's a long way to go. Drag 3 kids for that.
Do you have any favorite memories across the 18 odd years that you were on tour? What were the best, the peak moments? Obviously
Probably,
when you won.
I mean, with the family, I'd say we used to have between, we'd have like a 4 or 5 day break between the events in Europe, and we'd go to San Sebastian or we'd go somewhere in Europe and just have 4 or 5 days, and it felt like finally had like a little bit of a holiday. You know what I mean? Like we had like a moment to enjoy a bit of Europe with the kids and get some culture and do something fun. And that was always just special.
Yeah.
But there's some great places. Like Portugal, I love Portugal. Such a cool place. We used to have some great times there.
It's so interesting. Like I'm just fascinated because surfing's like it's a free, like originally it's a fun, free hobby. Whereas so many other sports, you don't do the activity outside of a competitive environment.
No.
Really. Even like tennis, even golf, definitely team sports. You're only doing it against someone.
Yeah.
Whereas surfing, and then that obviously impacts the culture of, surfing athletes. And it's just like, because I come from an AFL background.
Yeah.
And, you're on the field, you've got, strapping tape on your body, you've got physios, you've got massage, you've got coaches, you've got strategy, you've got all this sort of stuff. And probably in your career, there was probably periods of your career where it was more like, I'm just going to go out and have a red hot crack. But then there were other periods, like kind of the 2009 sort of era that you were saying that you were like, you were doing all the 1%ers, getting the sleep right, doing all of the things that you had to do.
Yeah, it's weird. Like even this morning, I was so keen to get in the water quickly before I started this. Like I had the funnest time. I didn't surf for almost 10 days or so, 12 days, which was crazy for me to go that long. And I loved it. Like I got 45 minutes surfing this morning. And it's like, it's hard for you. And I will hopefully do that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm buzzing because I had 45 minutes to surf this morning.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about the sport. How you can do it for a long time.
And I'm stoked because I've done it at that kind of that athlete 1% charge level, but then also to be able to do it like I did it just this morning because I just do it because I love it.
Yeah. Did that change happen instantly? Like when you left tour and now every time you go out, you're just paddling out there for like what does it go? Do you surf differently for points?
I had a good break after I finished the tour. Like I surfed, but I was bare. I think I even had like 2 months off, 3 months off. I was just kind of, wasn't burnt, but I was just like, I don't have to.
Yeah.
And then I think I just started getting right back into it. I didn't ride. It took me years to ride my normal board that I used to compete on because it felt like I was getting back on connecting dots and getting back in that space that I was too afraid that I wouldn't enjoy surfing. So I would only surf fun boards and 20s and whatever else. And then went on and a few years later, I was like, okay, I've got over that hump and I'll back and surf. I will go and surf a normal shortboard again like I used to. I don't have to hide behind it.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like when you jump on that board, you're surfing for points, not for fun.
Yeah,
it's like this wave's got a bit longer. I'm gonna keep riding it and just rack up a few extra turns. When if it was just free surfing, you'd just jump off and paddle back out.
That's the thing. I've surfed plenty of competitions after I've retired, like fun ones. I've done the single fin here. I've been to the Maldives. I've surfed all different events, but I've never surfed for points again, like actual for qualification points or world title points, anything. I've never been to a WSL event.
Yeah.
I'll surf for fun. I surfed the one at Burleigh, but there's no, and I never would take that opportunity away from someone who needs those points. Probably a bit of a difference between what Kelly still takes wildcards like did last week, which I was pretty disappointed with him doing that.
So what, can you explain that to me?
So, he went and surfed in the lower trestle WCT event as a wildcard, right?
So how does that come about? You're going to have to excuse my surfing ignorance
so
here.
He takes a wildcard into the top tier event and goes against, the world champs, or he goes against Geordies.
So why does he get the wild card?
Well,
Kelly?
He asked for it, and
Right.
I think I don't know, he probably because he's Kelly. He's a great name for the sport. He probably does that.
Right.
But yeah, I always thought, for me personally, I've had my time to do that. I would never take a wild card to go into a WSL event. I just feel like there's a bunch of young kids that are right on the cusp that could have that opportunity.
I get you. So a wild card is someone who's not on tour.
And gifted a spot through.
For one event?
Usually for me, I always thought a wild card was an up and comer that had an opportunity to go out and have a go at the world's best.
Yeah.
So that's what I believe a wild card should be.
How much? I mean, in other sports, it's
like the lowest ranking go up against the best. So it's like it's usually a sponsored wild card that gets in.
Yeah, the first thing I think of is it's going to draw more eyeballs. Because
definitely it might be that. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't want to get too deep in it, but I just feel like it should always be a young 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid that's almost on the cusp, probably even a local in that community that's really good, that probably could go and have than someone who's had 30 years of cracks or at it,
Yeah, it's just that it must just be that absolute dog in him. It's just like the Michael Jordan. It's just
still wants it.
Yeah, which there's an element of every competitor that admires that competitiveness.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now, you're a humble man, Joel, but I do want to ask you, like, what's it like being Joel Parkinson? I mean, you've grown up on the Gold Coast, you live here now. The likelihood of you walking into a pub, I mean, obviously we've got Balter as well, which we'll get into, but you walking into most venues, there's going to be people that recognize you, that love you, that like you, that want to talk to you. What was that transition like when people started to know who you are on the daily?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Around the world, like I guess, like in surfing destinations, it's definitely, it happens quite a bit.
Yeah, during an event.
During events or even not events, if you just end up in kind of surf-specific places. But other than that, it's just, normal. I mean, and especially I spend a lot of time at home now. I guess with home, it's home. Like I know it's just a part of being home, I suppose. I don't really ever think about it. It was probably worse, I guess, when I was in the peak of my career. There's some real surf fanatics around the world. Brazil's huge for surfing. Japan is wild. Places like that were amazing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even think about it. Sorry, Sam.
Yeah,
I feel like it's just that part's behind me, I suppose.
Yeah, and I'd imagine the surfing community is pretty relaxed and respectful.
Very relaxed.
It's not like you're a Formula One driver. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah,
in a good way. Yeah. No, cool. What does life look like now? Like, how do you spend your days? What do you love to do?
Well, I love surfing if I can get to do it.
Yeah.
But I think, there's a few other things that I guess I do, and I've got involved in a few little businesses that I'm with. I feel like I spend a lot of time on sometimes probably unnecessary stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but that's just the way I am. And been lucky enough that whatever on the side has gone well, but I'm still a Billabong athlete. I'm still an ambassador of Billabong. That's still my main bread and butter that I still do a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough that they still like me going on surf trips or promotional trips or whatever. So those are the things with Billabong are amazing.
So when did you first sign with Billabong?
I was 11 years
No
old.
way.
I'm 44 today and still there.
What's that relationship been like? It's obviously evolved over the years.
Yeah, people have come and gone. Lots of people. I guess I'm not an employee. I'm a contractor to that.
Yeah.
So it's been 34 years of contracts with them. So it's pretty cruisy with them now. I mean, it's call, talk. Even though they've been through so many changes and ownerships, and there's still a fair few people there where it's a great relationship. I feel like it's just they're a part of me and I'm a part of them.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's special.
Alrighty, guys, we're going to take a really quick break from today's episode and talk to you about our sponsor for today's episode, Prodigy X. Now, I know for myself, and I'm sure it's very similar for many people who watch this show, I've got incredibly audacious goals with the things that I want to achieve in my life. And one of the things that comes with having those goals is the requirement to be ultra productive on a day-to-day basis. That starts for me in the morning. In the morning, I have a very strict routine, and an unmatched element of that routine has been jumping in the ice bath first thing in the morning. It outcompetes coffee. It outcompetes energy drinks. It is genuinely, quite literally, a full body experience mentally and physically. I really wish I started this earlier. I can't imagine how much more productive I would have been if I started jumping in an ice bath first thing in the morning earlier. Prodigy X are the best in the business when it comes to ice baths. The team have meticulously designed the most robust high-performance ice bath on the market. Head to prodigyx.com.au/SamHope to get your hands on the best ice bath in the market and take your productivity game to the next level.
So you're on the back end of your career. You guys obviously start Balter. Now, for all of the listeners today, I actually wanted to read out a fun fact.
Okay.
Because I don't think many people actually know what Balter means.
Yeah.
But the definition of Balter is to dance artlessly without
particular skill or grace,
but usually with enjoyment.
With enjoyment.
To dance artlessly without particular skill or grace, but usually with enjoyment. Mate, how cool is that? I reckon
have you seen
less than 5%
with a smiley face with enjoyment? It always says,
That's smart.
Yeah.
What, let's go back to square one. Where did that story begin? What was the...
I guess Bede, really. I guess at the early days, Bede. And then it just fruited with Bede and Mick and Josh, and then the ideas, were put down on paper. And
where? When did you first get together?
Yeah, we're in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then Sean got involved, and then it just started to really, it was a kind of a great little evolution at the time. And it was a really amazing journey and I think I look back now and I think we had so many lucky little breaks. We were lucky in the people that we wanted to come on board were in the right phase and time of their life to come on board.
Yeah.
Scotty, our brewer, just, he was incredible. His XPA was a recipe, we didn't know much about. And it was insane. It was just a really great bunch of people that just were at the right time to do something special.
Yeah. So the team, you've obviously got B, Josh, Mick, and yourself.
Yep.
You and Mick are still on tour. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Are the other gents as well?
No, Bede had just come off a horrible wipeout and in bad injury.
Right. And did he originally have the passion for brewing?
Yeah, he had the original, I guess, he was right into his craft beer and loves a beer, so he was into that. And his idea probably that he had originally was changed by, by the group, I suppose, a bit, and so on.
Yeah. And so then Ant, Sterling, Sean, did they come into sort of, did they have, brewery experience? Did they come in with branding experience or just to commercialize the whole business? What was the kind of makeup?
Sean had a startup background.
Yep.
Sterls was brand, so his vision for brand is amazing. He's what he can do and had done previously.
Yep.
And we'd only seen him working in the surf industry space, really. What I'd seen him do with Billabong, with Life's Better in Board Shorts campaign, was probably one of the greatest surfing campaigns, and still they use it today, was all his invention. So he was really quick pick for us, hoping that it was all good. And then Ant's background in corporate was key to probably, but obviously with beer, probably no more experience than just being a beer drinker, I guess, for the rest of us.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, the Balter brand is unreal. Like there's obviously the product, but then there's the brand behind the product. You guys would have had to, organize your cap table, and there's all of those things that you're like, oh my God. Like,
yeah. It was a beautiful learning curve. It was amazing. I loved it. I was like, we're learning something new every day about from startup to, to how we're going to fund it and all those things. It was really cool.
So you're, was it 2014 or 15?
Yep, 15 in market.
15. Wow. So it's been a decade, right? Mm. And when did you guys exit? What year was that?
Just recently, really.
Yeah. Mm. Scotty Hargrave, former Stone and Wood, he came over in, I think it was 2019 as head brewer. I mean, the XBA, it's a unbelievable drop, mate.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Isn't it unreal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's in a similar way, I think, to Stone and Wood, how they pioneered the pack ale. It's almost like I think Balter did similar with XBA, would you say?
I guess so.
Maybe that's just from the consumer's perspective.
I would say you're probably right. That's their I guess their bread and butter too, isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the other ones is the 4-pack. It was a big Balter. Balter do 4-packs. We started the 4-pack.
Right.
So yeah. We really pushed for that, and in a 375 can too. So
yep,
a bit more in.
And was there reasoning behind no bottles before the Cerveza? Obviously.
Oh no,
that was just commercial reasons.
We didn't have a bottle pack machine, so that was a different.
I think the tinnies make more commercial sense.
They do.
Most.
Beer's meant to be brewed in a tin.
Yeah,
it really is. Like a clear bottle doesn't sometimes fit well for me, but for hundreds and years they've put them in kegs and round bottles to keep the sunlight away.
Yeah. Cool. No, that's unreal. It's been a cool journey, hasn't it?
It's been so much fun. Plenty of hangovers too. You drink a lot of XPA can do that to you too. So,
well, they're a strong beer.
They're a strong beer. The first time that we ever tried it, we were at Mick's place for an Origin game, and questionable on the percentage that night. It was a Scotty's homebrew one, so who knows how it was. Could have been an 8, 9, could have been a 20%. Who knows? I got home. I woke up in the morning. It was like, what was the score? Who won that game? It was one of those ones. I was like, those beers were too strong for me.
Yeah. Wow. And then obviously you guys expanded the SKU range to a number of different brews. Most recently to Cerveza, which is a cool kind of Mexican lager. Something a bit different as well.
Great beer. Yeah. Scotty's done some amazing beers over the years.
Yeah.
And
so then outside of Balter, obviously Balter overlapped the end of your career on tour towards the beginning of your time off tour. Any other business interests or, real estate? Does that stuff, do you like that stuff?
Few more business interests, like of JS Surfboards, being heavily involved there.
Yep.
Like that's, I don't know, that's a part of, I guess, my being there for a long time.
Part of John Parkinson.
I guess it's my, not only just my board shaver, but I'm a stakeholder in that.
Yep.
And then also, I guess there's been a couple of others that have come through the pipeline, and it's been a good journey. I feel like, my schooling was horrible. I didn't do much schooling. I surfed too much. Surfing was great, but I've really enjoyed the learning curve after surfing. I feel like I'm learning something new every day, and whether it be, some boring stuff it may seem, but it's stuff that I've not really done before, from startups to right through. So I don't know. It's been a cool journey. I love to learn that new stuff. Whether I'm good at or bad at it, at least I'm there and willing to learn.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite breaks to surf over the years?
Best break in the world is cloud break in Fiji. There's no better wave than that. It is. I love going left, which is my backhand.
Yeah.
For me, that wave is just such a cool wave.
Is that an unusual preference for a surfer? Backhand?
Well, yeah, I guess so. I guess I've just grown up on the Gold Coast with our perfect right-hand point breaks that peel down.
Yeah.
Going the other way for me, and it's just such a good challenge. And I feel real after time. I was horrible at it when I first started the tour, and I ended, and I loved it, and I really enjoyed it and felt comfortable with it.
Do you reckon it's changed? Obviously, like when you go down to the local board riders now, for young guys and girls that want to make it onto the tour, is it changed? Is there different sort of coaching? Are people recording? People surfing and doing analysis?
Absolutely, definitely. There's a lot more coaching and there's probably a lot more opportunity for other people in surfing, just not the surfer. Whereas there's enough for Surfing Australia have their full clinics, they have coaches, they have full video programs. They do it. They're amazing at what they do. With all their AIS stuff and getting the Olympic stuff ready and do it. It's pretty cool to watch that side of it now. None of that was obviously offered when we were young, and now right through to their junior development is, it's train, coach, video analysis. Like they have their days like that, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Australia to win an Olympic gold medal in surfing.
So am I right in saying that surfing's only recently been added to the Olympics?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, well, that was our second. Japan was the first time.
Yep.
And now we just had Tahiti.
Yep.
Jack Robinson got a silver for us, which was amazing. Yep. And back when they talked about surfing going into the Olympics, I was kind of skeptical on how are we really right for the Olympics? Is surfing a right fit for the Olympics, or is the Olympics ready for surfers? But now I look at it and I'm like, it's amazing. Like I feel like the Olympics and some of the other sports, like that around that extreme sport, should be in the Olympics. Like surfing Chopu, especially in the Olympics when they did it last year. There couldn't have been a more dangerous sport in the Olympics.
No.
10-foot Chopu, and the guys were going so hard. Couple of injuries, guys getting cut, stuff like that. Like I can't imagine there being too many more life-threatening sports like that in the Olympics.
Is it a big wave event?
No, it was
surfing?
It was just France. It was in Japan the time before when we had the COVID Olympics, that one. The next one is Trestles in America. Like it's really cool. I think it'd be awesome to see. And the kids that right now that are at younger age that are going through the AIS programs and getting ready are our 32 hopes. That will be amazing. I'd love to see Australian win Olympic gold here at Snapper in 32.
Yeah, right, because it's going to be here.
It's going to be here.
How do they mix them with the WSL? Do they just make sure the events don't collide, or?
Yeah, they just make sure they don't collide. The WSL just have the I think they take a few weeks off there in that time and shuffle events around.
Yeah.
So I think they work well together with it.
Makes sense.
And I think it really heightens the WSL too. It drags them through.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it's just opportunities for surfers to grow their own profile, their own sponsorships, their own brand, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was going to ask before, most sports, like a lot of the funding and everything comes from the entertainment element to it. Like you go to a game of footy in Melbourne and there's 100,000 people in the stadium. Is surfing, what's the mindset of an athlete? Footballers, the mindset, they know they're in an entertainment industry. They know that they're getting paid because there's people watching. In a surfer's mind, is there any element that you're actually entertaining here? Is that, or is that not in the psyche, if you know what I'm kind of saying?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe some guys now, possibly, I guess. I mean, putting on a show as a surfer, I guess you'd say, is, putting together a huge heat, I guess. Or,
right.
I mean, that might be what you'd say. Or watching, John at Pipeline. He's just doing his thing. But to me or to us, he's like putting on a show that possibly none of us are ever going to do. No one's going to be relaxed on a 10 to 12 foot pipe wave and, stand in a barrel and get spat out and do an air or do something crazy, stuff. That, I guess, the element. But for him, it's probably him just doing his thing and honing his skills or improving. And
that's just another morning for John.
That's just another morning for him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but you're right about the Olympics. It'll be cool to
watch the next event.
Australia.
I think it starts tomorrow. The next day is Brazil.
Okay.
And watch some of the Brazilian boys. They may think that crowd, the energy, they sit on the back of the jet ski after their wave and get the crowd moving. And so possibly a bit of a showman stuff there, but I still think they're in it to win it. They're in it for the title. So,
Yeah.
Concentrating on making sure you're on a show is probably not the way to go.
No, it's just interesting. It's an interesting conversation because, like, you've got, in cricket they brought out the T20 because it's, shorter and more entertaining, and then in other sports you've got the Conor McGregors of the world that are coming out and
the Big Bash too. That's awesome. I went to that. That is a show. That's
right.
It feels like they don't take that as that's not serious as
as Test cricket.
But it was awesome to watch. It's a great thing, I thought.
And now more people, especially young people, are beginning to support Test cricket again because the Big Bash is getting them interested, and then it funnels them through to Test cricket.
It's got a great entertainment value to it.
Yeah. I wanted to move into a closing segment of today.
Yeah.
It's a game called This or That.
Okay.
So I'm going to read two different options, and you've just got to pick your preference. One word answer.
Okay.
Snapper Rocks or Pipeline?
Oh, pipe.
Indo or Hawaii?
Hawaii. Shit. No, Indo. Right, I gotta go Indo. Yeah.
XPA or Lager?
Oh, XPA.
A schooner or a pint?
Schooner.
And finally, comp surfing or free surfing?
Oh, free surfing.
Free surfing. Thank you, Joel.
Thanks, Sam. Cheers. That was great.